Okay, this is an emergency spare of the moment, what do you mean? And because I'm going to just slap this one together, I'll just showcase something I prepared earlier, which is kind of relevant. This you can get as a Christmas card through the Smashed Avocado movement. Alrighty, we'll start off with how Australia's school children were marching through the cities to the parliament buildings all throughout the country for the inaction on climate change by our politicians, and they still insist on using coal and want to sell a shitload to Odandi and have them rip up Queensland. And I want to make the connection between our school children and the yellow vests in France, because that tax on them is an attack on French working people, like our politicians' lazy, corrupt bullshit is an attack on the future of these children. Like, don't get me wrong, it's all well and good to save energy as an individual, but that's usually good for your bills and you'll save money. If we don't rein in big corporations and start making plans to transition entire populations to clean energy in the matter of decades, we are absolutely fucked. Next thing that I found quite interesting, and I'm allowed to talk about this, I word this carefully, how the Popinator cut one of his homeboys from the team. You know, that's news from the Vatican, so I'm allowed to say that much. And I just love how it's on the same day as old mate Morrison announcing religious protections, religious freedoms, anti-discrimination laws. Hilarious. If you're so religious, Mr. Prime Minister, then like all I have to say is Matthew 19:24, isn't it? And yeah, this guy has a boat trophy thing that says I stopped the boats. That's why I don't know what to make of this, for the fact that our boats we send to patrol that usually intercept these boats with people coming to seek refuge, they're gonna stop them, and what does that mean? Like, job done? You actually stopped all the boats? There's no more anymore? No. They stopped our patrol boats because they're saving money on fuel. Oh, how good is that? Like, what do you even mean? And this brings me to the next thing I need to mention. And the main reason I felt the need to make this. I'm a bit surprised I didn't already assume this, where Christopher Pyne, our Minister of Defence, wrote him a letter. That's a video. You can go watch that. I don't know how I didn't think this before, but he is like the Australian embodiment of the military-industrial complex, which I've also made a video about. But yeah, it only hit me when I received this ridiculous calendar, and it doesn't even have a magnet, like useless. But yeah, look at him. And then I saw him tweet at Lockheed Martin, couldn't help myself but reply with, anyone remember August the 9th, a couple of months ago, when a little piece of Lockheed Martin killed 51 people, 40 of them young boys, on a bus in Yemen? Which is, yeah, that's exactly where I was getting to with this. From that article from the ABC, with all of Kelly's hard work, Christopher Pyne spends a lot of time in the Middle East. He's constantly going back and forth. Australia has trade deals with the UAE and Saudi for various things that, yeah, just death machines. There was this machine gun that you mount onto the top of a car and you can fire it remotely. So, like, what the? Gonna have to have a chat to old mate Christopher Pyne. It's all well and good to make the formal statement of Australia is not involved in Yemen, but if you're selling them things that they're using to conduct this genocide, you are still guilty, sir. Okay, and the last thing I'll talk about before I end this is the new findings I found about the AA bill, all that anti-encryption stuff. Found an article and I made a phone call, and I'll steal a bit of that to sum it up for everyone. Thank you.
Australia passed this bill, we've been calling it the AA bill, which I think in long is telecommunications and other legislation access, or assistance and access, which is just pretty much getting rid of encryption, where they want the Australian Federal Police to have access to encrypted messages. And yeah, there's one part of it where they just pretty much use this to filibuster the fuck out of it to stop refugees from getting medical help. But then the other side of this, which I find more concerning, is that I found an article where it even says the 5 eyes, which is like the 5 countries where they're just surveillance.
Okay, yeah. That's a big deal. The 5 eyes, I think we're going to do an illicit history on, because that's the intelligence sharing network of Australia, United States, Canada, UK, and New Zealand. That's a big deal. Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm glad I'm not going insane.
No, that's a big deal.